Good morning, and thank you very much for being here. Greetings to my colleagues from ActionSA, the provincial chair, the regional chair, regional secretary and councillors who are joining us here today. And I suppose we are here once again, aren't we, in the revolving door of city politics in Johannesburg. And let's start on that particular note to recognise that the residents of Johannesburg have endured a huge amount of instability, and that instability very clearly translating into failed service delivery. And in many ways, we're going to be telling you a story today about how the residents of Johannesburg are very much in the same position as we are, which is being messed around by the two largest parties in the City of Johannesburg Council. So ActionSA has been involved in a process of engaging our structures, residents of Johannesburg, as well as the ANC. We met with the ANC on Monday night, and we have communicated to the ANC that we will not be voting to defend Dada Modero in today's council meeting. We have come to this conclusion because, frankly speaking, service delivery in Johannesburg has collapsed. I don't need to elaborate in great detail on that. The evidence abounds wherever you are in Johannesburg. The traffic lights are not working, the streets are falling apart, the electricity outages and water stoppages are more than they have ever been. And on top of that, we have a mayor who responds to these crises with statements like, well, we'll just repair the potholes on the routes of the G20, or don't expect a lot from me under my mayoralty. I'm afraid Johannesburg residents aspire for more than that kind of leadership, and ActionSA aspires more than that kind of leadership as well. It's also quite important, and my colleague, the provincial chair, will elaborate on this as well, about serious governance issues in the City of Johannesburg relating to the extension and acting arrangements in perpetuity of questionable characters in the City of Johannesburg, the announcement of a bomb squad without the consultation of any other political parties in the council. And these are all issues that we have conveyed to the ANC today about why it is we cannot vote to defend Dada Modero. We have conveyed to the ANC that we believe that the problem is Dada Modero and not the ANC. We are working with the ANC very well in the city of Tshwane, where we are in coalition, and in Ekurhuleni, where we aren't in coalition, we are finding a mayor who is engaging and consulting. So we've been at pains to point out to the ANC that this is not an act of hostility against the party. It is just simply the fact that ActionSA cannot vote to defend this mayor. Now, I need to make something abundantly clear. The ANC has said to ActionSA that if we do not support them in this motion of no confidence, they will act against our speaker and abstain in that vote, which in all probability means that ActionSA is likely to lose our speaker in the city of Johannesburg today. That's absolutely fine. I have come from an engagement with our speaker and her staff where we have briefed them on the situation, and they agree with us that we cannot vote in order to retain positions, but against the wishes of the residents of Johannesburg. We aren't that kind of party. We will not sell out for positions, and we will do what's right. And if that means we will lose our position, then so be it. We will continue fighting for the residents of Johannesburg in whichever capacity we need to fight for the residents of Johannesburg. But I would also like to reserve a few thoughts for the second largest party in Johannesburg that, in our opinion, is messing the residents around equally. The Democratic Alliance has brought this motion of no confidence today, but they haven't communicated with any other political parties to get their support for this motion, which raises the question, are we once again talking about a gimmick that takes place at the expense of the credibility and the stability of the City of Johannesburg? But it gets worse than that. The Democratic Alliance is unable to articulate to you or to me what alternative government would take the place of this one were the motion to succeed. So basically, it's a game of Russian roulette and subjecting the city to a situation where the removal of a mayor is not communicated alongside what governance alternative comes alongside that removal. And the fear is that once upon a time the residents of Johannesburg thought that Kabelo Gwamanda, we couldn't do any worse, and then they met Dada Modero. We need to have a situation that when motions of no confidence are brought, that we understand what the alternative to the existing government would be, and it is patently irresponsible to bring motions if you cannot articulate what that alternative is. But it doesn't stop there. This is the same Democratic Alliance that refused to support motions of no confidence last year, saying that the only solution for Johannesburg was to dissolve the council. But now, a year later, it's back to the motions of no confidence. You can see the contradiction. And of particular concern is I get to break the news to you today that ActionSA's President Herman Mashaba was engaged by the party Al Jama, that is actually part of the GLU, and Al Jama engaged our president asking for them to support this motion because the DA had promised Al Jama positions in a new government should the motion succeed. This is the same Al Jama that the DA laid criminal charges against its leader, Kabelo Gwamanda, for the alleged funeral scheme fraud that he was involved in. And yet, this is what the DA sees as credible leadership. From our side, this is totally unacceptable. This is why we say to you today, from our perspective, the Johannesburg residents, just like ourselves, are being messed around by the two largest parties in our council. And as far as ActionSA is concerned, our focus has to be to move on to the 2026 local government elections, because we need to disrupt the politics of Johannesburg. As long as these two parties remain the two largest in our council, Johannesburg will be hamstrung and service delivery will continue to collapse in the name of election gimmicks that we see here today. So thank you very much for being here today. And it's for me to pass over to our provincial chairperson to say a few words as well. Do you want me to hold for you?
Yeah. Thank you very much, Michael. Yeah, so it's quite disappointing that we are at this particular point this morning. As Michael has already indicated, we're not going to vote to support the mayor. We're going to take a position, or we're going to abstain, and we're going to try and defend our own speaker. But clearly we won't have the numbers. If ANC decides to vote against our mayor, or even abstain and not support our speaker. So we are in this position, unfortunately, because of the mayor that has failed, a mayor that has not delivered on anything. And when we actually came into this arrangement in July last year, we came with an understanding that we will be in the legislature, we will hold them accountable, we will work with them on issue-by-issue basis, and we anticipate that they will assist in turning around the city from what happened with Kabelo Gwamanda and with Thapelo Amad. But things got even worse to the point that he was not consulting with us. It's going to be interesting to see how EFF and PA and others vote, because even themselves are very unhappy with the way the mayor has handled himself. He didn't consult anyone on the budget, he didn't consult anyone on the so-called bomb squad, and on many other issues. We have engaged with him, particularly on the issue of the surcharge. From the day when we started working with the ANC, to say our residents are hard-pressed economically, financially, that we need to make sure that we help them by removing this surcharge. A commitment was made that we will deal with that in the adjustment budget. That was not done. A commitment was made that we will deal with that in the new budget in May. That was not done. And this is why we are taking a position today that this is not the mayor that the city of Johannesburg residents need. And unfortunately, we will not support them. But equally, we will not support the DA in their gimmicks, because we know they're not serious about this motion. We know that the DA is the party that collapsed a government that was working under Mpopalat, a government that was supposed to, at this moment, residents will be enjoying the services that will be getting from that mayoralty, that included ActionSA. When the PA asked for more recognition in the multi-party, and the DA was refusing, it was the ActionSA that then offered two positions to ensure that we continue with that government. Positions that were occupied by ActionSA, but the DA refused and chose to collapse the government of Mpopalat. The same DA, last year, as Michael indicated, when we were dealing with the issue of Kabelo Gwamanda, and we asked them to come and support our motion, they chose to say, let's collapse this government and put it under administration. So it is a DA that is not interested in the residents of Johannesburg. They're interested in gimmicks, in PR stunts, and we will not support them. We'll just abstain on this motion. We'll defend our speaker, and we hope that other parties will get to their senses and vote with us in defending the speaker. This is a speaker that has worked. Since she came into that office, she has turned it around in terms of public participation, in terms of oversight. You know, when she ran the IDP sessions across the 7 regions of the province, of the city, the DA, the same DA that actually occupies seats as ward councillors, were not attending those IDP sessions. Now you ask yourself, if you are in Region B, all the wards in Region B are run by DA councillors, and they don't attend an IDP session that's supposed to make inputs into the budget of the city. What is their interest? Is their interest to defend the residents of Region B, or is their interest to defend their own political party? So we are going to go in there today and defend our speaker. We will fold our arms when it gets to Dada Modero, because we don't believe that he's capable of taking this city anywhere. If he survives that motion, that's good for them, but we will continue to hold him accountable in whatever aspect that we can be able to do so. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We are available to take some questions. You don't want to, I've got a grip on them. Once you let go, I tell you, it's chaos.
Members of the media, you can just indicate your name in the media house, and then I'll direct the question to the relevant individual. Junior?
Junior Kumalo from Newsroom Africa. Just a quick question on how you plan to defend the speaker. Have you spoken to some of these other parties? Because we hear yourself saying that the DA did not speak to you guys. But has the ActionSA tried to speak to some of these parties to try and defend the speaker? And which parties did you speak to?
Pule, ENCA?
Yeah, I mean, you say you've engaged the ANC on Monday night. Are you worried that what we are seeing here is a similar pattern that could potentially unfold in the city of Tshwane as well?
Alpha, EWN?
Alpha here from Eyewitness News. Similar to Julia's question, does this mark the end of your case-by-case relationship with the ANC in Johannesburg?
Funzi Michael?
So I'll start, and please feel free to build on those remarks. From our point of view, we have engaged a number of parties. It looks like the parties in the GLU will be voting together as a bloc. So it does look like, in all probability, ActionSA's speaker may lose her seat today. But as I've indicated, we accept that. We are not going to be the party that clings on to positions without principle and against the wishes of the residents of Johannesburg, who no resident of Johannesburg is asking a political party to come here and defend this mayor today. And ActionSA is not going to do that for the sake of positions. We aren't sellouts. We're not going to adopt that kind of position. The nature of a issue-by-issue relationship is ActionSA will continue operating issue by issue. We're doing it in Parliament, where we aren't part of the GNU. And why wouldn't a party operate issue by issue? Because surely, if something is meritorious for our support, we should support it. And if something is not, we should oppose it. And I don't see why that would change if we lose that position. And as it responds to the city of Tshwane, we were very deliberate when we negotiated the city of Tshwane to adopt the principle with all parties concerned that we will not visit upon the city of Tshwane any instability taking place in another municipality. We've seen previously in the city of Ekurhuleni that there was instability there that had impacts here in Johannesburg, and we were very deliberate about negotiating with all parties to say that we cannot have the residents of Tshwane having instability there because of issues that have got absolutely nothing to do with them here. And for that reason, we respect our partners. I think our partners have adhered to that principle without doubt. Our provincial chairperson was engaged in meetings in the city of Tshwane as recently as last night that he described as constructive and productive, and there doesn't appear to be any fallout in that regard. But at the end of the day, we all are in these arrangements voluntarily. If a political party wants to reconsider their involvement in that arrangement, it is their choice to make. But ultimately, they will have to account to the residents of that municipality in question. And I will say this, any political party that moves against Dr. Nasipi Moya in an environment where she is delivering the turnaround that is visibly evident for the residents of the city for the first time in a very long time, I suspect will pay the ultimate price, and we trust self-interest at the end of the day would prevent any political party from making that mistake.
Yeah. And also in regards to other parties, Junior, it includes the DA. I think you will remember that the DA did indicate, even before they filed the motion, that they were going to file a motion on both the mayor and the speaker. That didn't happen. What happened is that they had an engagement with Al-Jama, and Al-Jama was the one that eventually submitted the motion, basically on behalf of the DA. So we expect the DA today to vote with Al-Jama to remove our speaker. We don't know what ANC and other partners, as Michael has indicated, they are voting as a bloc, and that bloc might abstain, or they might just decide to vote together with the DA. That's their options that they've got. They must exercise them, and we are okay with it. And as we indicate, on voting on issue-by-issue basis, we'll continue to do so with them. We highlight issues that of governance that are critical to the residents, the issue of the surcharge, the issue of the collection of revenue in the city. It can't be right that the city as big as the city of Johannesburg is collecting at 81% of revenue. It actually means that this city is bankrupt. And that is not something that is happening because of anything. It happens because there's no leadership. Political leadership is lacking, and the MMC who's holding that position of MMC of Finance, she's unfortunately unable to do that job. And instead of changing and reshuffling, the mayor wants to introduce a system that has never existed anyway, of swapping people on 6 months basis, something that has never existed in any municipality. That shows lack of leadership. And this, you can see, colleagues, that it's been seen by their national leaders, the ANC national leader. That's why the president came and intervened and said, I'm bringing a working group here. That's why they're now introducing the bomb squad, because they can see there's no leadership internally, and they want to bring people from outside. So it's unfortunate the situation that we are in, but we are here because of the DA, because the DA decided to remove a mayoral committee that was working. They decided to collapse the government that was working for a government that we currently now, and they want to occupy a moral high ground that says now we want to put a motion of no confidence against the government that they themselves ensure that it becomes a government today that we are having. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, colleagues. If there are no further questions, I'm going to thank you all for coming today. Thank you very much, everyone.